It's Thursday, it's 4 o'clock, and it means it's time for Chelsea and Tony Live. Submit your portrait photos if you have not already done that, because we'll be looking at your photos. And Tony, you have some exciting news, right?
Yeah, we now have quite a bit of information about the upcoming Sony A9 Mark II and Canon 1DX Mark III. These are their 2020 Olympic top-end pro sports cameras. So we're going to kind of pit them against each other and talk about what we know.
Oh, you got a little nerd battle going on here. I always love that. But first, we have to mention that this show is sponsored by Squarespace. I like the websites, but I like the online stores they give you for free, too. You can sell your prints, and you could have a beautiful website like me and Tony. If you go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea, you can get 10% off. Thanks, Squarespace.
Thanks, Squarespace. So this week we're looking at portraits, and I think we're gone next week because we're probably still going to be sick.
No, that's not true. We're not going to be sick. But October 3rd, we're going to have Matt Granger here, and he's going to be reviewing your travel photos. Matt Granger is a friend of ours. He's a great educator. He travels so much, too much, I'd say, because I can never see him every time I try to get together with him. He's in Bhutan or something.
Yeah, his travel work is amazing. I've never known anybody who's on the road as much as him.
He'll be here in person, I think. I think he's going to come visit us.
Oh, great.
So that will be a really fun show. He's incredibly funny. Put that in your calendar and get your travel photos ready.
Let's go through the news. First, this last-minute rumor of Nikon registering a new camera sensor. And this is coming from NikonRumors.com. The rumored sensor is 60 or maybe it's 61 megapixels, so this makes sense. It's probably that same Sony A7R4 sensor. These sensors tend to trickle down to Nikon. This has 16-bit RAW files, which is more than normal, so maybe it'll be able to capture some extra dynamic range. They're also offering two new RAW formats. Well, maybe not new, but at least this one of them is new. The first is a lossless RAW file, which advertises 20 to 40% compression, which is good to help make these huge 60 megapixel RAW files smaller. And the second is a lossy RAW, which offers like 60 to 80% compression. So I think they're looking for ways to address the massive file sizes that 60 megapixel cameras are producing. Now, we just know that there's the sensor. We don't know what camera they're going to put it in. Everybody seems to be assuming it's going to be a Nikon Z8. But my guess is it's actually going to be a Nikon D860, one of their SLRs. I do expect that they will refresh the D850 before ending the SLR lineup, and I think that's where it really should go. And hopefully they'll also bring over that sensor stabilization into the D860.
I love my D850 still.
Would you switch back if they give you sensor stabilization and 60 megapixels in a D850 body? Lighted buttons.
I still like the D850 body and everything way more. Sony did updates in the A7 Mark IV, but...
Sorry, I know it was such a crisis for you over the course of like a year.
I know, everyone thought that was manufactured. When we go to the events, I'd be like,
it's happening all the time.
Struggling, and they'd be like, didn't you make that up for your videos? I don't make up feelings for my videos. I was very conflicted, and I would go back if they had IAF. That's the thing I really love.
Now let's talk about the rumors from SonyAlphaRumors.com and CanonRumors.com about the Sony A9 Mark II and Canon 1DX Mark III. These are both looking pretty concrete. First up, the Sony A9 Mark II. Sony is looking to create a camera that sports photographers will actually be able to use in the 2020 Olympics. The current A9 is great. It's the one I use for sports, but it also has some real weaknesses for pros, like you get random banding depending on what the lighting situation is like. I think they'll address that, and it looks like from the sensor rumors that it's going to be a 36 megapixel sensor, which is a lot for a sports camera, but maybe they'll provide the ability to shoot in lower res files. The sensor we're looking at seems to have 6 native ISOs. Now, providing these actual like physical native ISOs could help reduce noise, especially at higher ISOs. It also seems to advertise a larger well capacity per pixel, so each pixel will be able to gather more light, and that could improve dynamic range. I'm guessing it's going to have 30 frames per second and be able to shoot 6K 30 video. It seems like it should be able to shoot 6K 30 video if it can shoot at 30 frames per second, which is what I'm guessing. It seems like the rumors are saying it's going to be announced around the time of Photo Plus, which would be about October 24th.
That's interesting. Okay. I was just realizing I read on Sony rumors that there's not going to be a Sony booth at Photo Plus, but that they might have an event instead.
Yeah, they were saying they were going to have artisans there, but they wouldn't actually have a booth. And we have been seeing that the camera manufacturers
These
aren't
are
that
rumors.
interested in the big exhibits anymore, like Photo Plus and
That
Photo
makes me
Keynote.
sad. We should talk about that another time because I have some ideas about that.
Okay. And the Canon 1DX Mark III. I'm guessing this is going to come in at a higher price point because Canon usually does. So I'm guessing $7,000. The rumors are that it's going to have 6K 30 frames per second video, and that would necessitate having a 28 megapixel sensor. The rumors are also saying substantially more megapixels than the current 20 megapixels, so that kind of adds up. Canon traditionally ups the frames per second a little bit. They're at 14 now. I'm guessing they would go to 16 and perhaps even offer 20 frames per second when using live view, not using the viewfinder. The rumors are saying 2 CF Express cards, which makes sense, and we could finally see Canon put IBIS into a camera. This would be the perfect camera to launch it. I would guess they will also launch in October, since now they know Sony is going to launch in October and they don't want to be the last one there. So if nothing else, I expect to see a product development announcement, even if they're not ready for a full launch. But I bet they'll do a full launch. Let's take a look at your portrait pictures. I think what I'll do is kind of skim through here and find the ones that really catch my eye, because how many pictures did we already have? We already have 453 pictures. So unless we can look at each one for about 1 second, we're not going to get through very many. Look at which one?
The one with the guy with the black eye flicking us off. Some things just catch your eye. Number 4.
Oh. Okay.
What's the
That's
story?
appropriate. I don't know, but it definitely tells a tale, right? I like that he's dressed so dapper.
That's probably how he got the black eye. All that sassiness.
Okay.
He's liberal with that middle finger.
Interesting
I had to
shot.
pick up our dog because she decided to start chewing on all of the wires under our desk.
Oh, that's not good,
She'd be like a
Pixel.
little fried mouse. Oh.
This shot is just straight up cool, right?
Ooh, look at the heart
It's got
smoke.
fire and a cigar. The smoke looks great. You think the smoke is fake or is that real?
Heart smoke? Probably fake.
Yeah, it's probably fake, but it looks good. All right, cool shot. I'm going to give you a pick.
Cool shot.
Let's skip forward and find a really eye-catching
Whoa.
portrait.
Okay.
This is some pretty fascinating.
That's Beauty and the Beast all in one picture.
Yeah.
David, it took me a second. Oh, with body paint?
All right, great job with the styling. I just feel like the location doesn't support it. You know what I mean?
It's scaring the dog.
Oh.
Okay, let me...
Yeah, our dog perceives stuff on screens all the time. Like most dogs don't care about the TV.
I just want to see the catch light in her eye a little more, so I would just bring that up a bit.
So,
Very
yeah, she has these,
interesting.
like the beauty part should definitely be lit in kind of a beautiful way, I think.
Oh, like
And-
split lighting is...
Yeah, or you could just light it off to the left and let the beast part fall in the shadow. But I could use a catch light there and just maybe more traditional lighting and maybe a more traditional setting. But the body painting and makeup job looks great. I like this teacup one. Like, look at this dramatic lighting.
Residual haunting.
Okay, my first thought was maybe a bit heavy on the post-processing, but maybe that's part of the theme. Like, she looks very doll-like, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does all match.
Yeah, but I think if it's deliberate, I'm going to give it a pick. I would just say a little bit of ironing here, because it's such like a perfect picture that my eye kind of goes to every little flaw. Skip down a little bit, see what else we can
I
find.
like that one. Self-portrait number 37.
7? Okay.
Yeah, I like that you're a little off center. I like your expression. Your eyes are nice and focused for a self-portrait.
Yeah, even if it wasn't a self-portrait, I like this a lot. It's interesting.
I would have to say the only thing is that this is the brightest part of the photo, so you're getting the most visual weight. It's even brighter than the whites of your eyes. So I might just bring up the exposure on your face a little bit. How will we do this, sir? What are we going to do here? So maybe bring up the highlights on your face a little bit, and then I'll use just a graduated filter and bring down the highlights on your shirt, and then there'll be a little bit more visual balance. If I can do that, if I can achieve that right now,
Yeah,
it's not really working very well.
But you're absolutely right. This is a really good suggestion. And I think ideally we would have handled this in camera. You could use like a gobo, like a black card between the light source just to kind of cast a shadow on your shirt. And that would have been a good way to handle it naturally, or pick a shirt that didn't have this one really reflective white spot.
But I like the texture of the shirt though.
Yeah, I do actually like that shirt and the shape of it. But you're right, that one part was a little distracting.
Go up.
Which number?
52. I like the processing and the styling, and I like that her pose is a little bit awkward. It drew me to it right away. It's like a retro feel, and you had the editing match it. I would just like watch the edges. That's something we always say around here. Watch the edges, right, Pixel? And right now you have this flower pot peeking in, and it's one of the first things I looked at. It's funny how just a little something out of place can steal the show.
I might even want to go Dutch tilt on this.
You can do whatever. All right, let's keep looking. I really love the portraits theme. It's just so many different ways to photograph people, am I right? I like this one.
Yeah, that's a really nice pose.
So sweet.
And really natural expression. You know, shooting through glasses can be difficult, but you did a good job with it. I would just say, well, maybe that's your base ISO. I was going to say shoot at the base ISO, but for that camera, maybe that is the base ISO. Just wish there were a little catch light in the eyes. You could just do it in post, just raise the highlights.
Actually,
or raise the midtones.
Guys, I'm sorry. I know I'm always plugging my presets, but I worked so hard, and I do have a preset to just bring out the eyes a little bit. Not in a creepy way. Sometimes that happens.
So you're using a brush in Lightroom here, and then you're just raising the exposure. But you could apply your brush preset.
I don't think it's installed here, is it?
I would think so.
Oh. Now we're in business. Okay. Nice. What do you think here? Oh, you're going to keep going?
Yeah, I was going to keep going, but this feels a little too tight to me. I actually like to follow the rule of thirds with portraits, and see if we put the crop lines on here, we'll see the rule of thirds overlaid, and you can see his eyes are closer to the midline than the rule of thirds line. Now, if we could extend the cropping down a little bit and uncrop it a little bit, and give him just a little bit more room, then his eyes could be up here, and it might be a lot nicer. We can kind of simulate this by cropping into his head a little bit, but it's getting really tight here, so I would have rather just have cropped a little looser.
Wow.
But that's something to think about. By default, I like to put the eyes at about 1/3 down from the top of the frame.
Oh my gosh, I love the one with the little girl hugging her mom's back.
Which number?
Up.
Oh, 68.
Yeah, it just seems, oh, she's in a little carrier. I just like that sliver of light. Like she's just in the shadow and her little face is poking out.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there were more room on either side.
Yeah, it's a little too crowded.
But the moment is just genuine. I love that about it.
Yeah, they were using a 100 to 400 zoom and zoomed all the way back to 100. And I know they were probably just wishing they had a 50 millimeter on instead. Sometimes you just don't have time to change lenses. Actually, in those times, I often just grab my smartphone from my pocket. That's like my default wide angle lens.
Whoa, this girl with the magnolia is amazing.
Yeah, at least looking at the thumbnail looks perfect. Oh, a bird. Wow. The bird's fake?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done that. Hey, we have a lot in common, Regina. I've used a fake braid and a fake bird. Okay? We should hang out.
Fantastic styling, everything. I kind of want to center this just a little more perfectly because it is so square to the camera that I just want to lean into it completely. It was almost there.
Wait, I wanted to look at more.
Okay.
I thought this was such a kind of weird but interesting angle. The words are distracting, but I don't know. I thought that one was really interesting. Okay. This one caught my eye because it seems underexposed. Pickle, be free, but don't chew.
So without even looking at the picture, just look at the histogram. And we can see from the histogram that this entire right third is unused. And now as we look at the picture, yeah, we can see this is all just shades of gray. And, even if it's a low-key photo, which this doesn't feel low-key, you should usually want at least one spot of white in it.
This is Gaddy. I think we talked earlier. Whoa.
Do you think I went too far with it?
Well, sometimes you know what I do? If they're going for a more flat look, I'll just bring up the whites so that things can maybe a little bit of multiple things. So maybe just bringing up the whites or the highlights so that I think they were going for a look. And then you can kind of keep their style but still have it exposed. It's interesting. She's got catchlights in her eyes. They just look so dark. But very cool picture. It caught my eye. I like it.
What about this is just like, sorry, I didn't mean to push that. This is just a nice, clean portrait.
Classic, high key.
Good expression.
Yeah, it's clean. It's classic. Everything's in focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. Totally sellable studio portrait of a kid. Good job, Maria.
Let's see. Ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
It's not like the resolution's too low to really do anything else with it, but I like the composition a lot. I like the colors.
Yeah, I was wondering why the technical quality was so low.
I don't know.
You're just gonna skip past the poodle.
Poodle.
Fiona, very nice. Now, it's gonna be really difficult to get eye contact from a dog, but this is such like a formal portrait shoot that I think it would be really cute if you could get them to look directly in the camera, and like a little squeaky toy or something like right at the lens, like right above the lens, can often do that.
Actually, what's difficult about getting eye contact from a dog is that some dogs you can bring out a treat and that will just get their attention. Other dogs, our dog Sandy, will lose her mind and knock over your entire studio for a piece of bacon. So you do have to be careful.
Yeah, it's tough. You don't want to get the dogs too excited. I like this kid. This is like the colors here are gorgeous. Great smile. I'm definitely giving you a pick. I just love the lighting too. Like his eyes are kind of half cast in shadow.
I actually think the colors are way too saturated.
Oh, really? No, I mean, they're saturated, but that didn't bother me. But then when you dropped the vibrance, I was like, oh, that does look nice.
Yeah. So right now, the brightness of the sweater is overpowering him. Like, just look at it and look at the balance of the photo. It's just too bright. But that's easy enough. You can just...
Okay. I wonder which version people prefer.
Mine. Oh my gosh, what happened? This baby's in a mini tornado. Call the authorities.
Oh, this is such a nice shot, but we didn't get eye contact. In fact, the baby looks upset by the whole situation.
Yeah, but here's what I love, Jason. I love this background blur and the colors and the mood. And I think I know it's so hard. You had no control over that baby. Maybe a piece of bacon for a baby would work as well. You just need to get that eye contact and the expression. But you have everything else. Like, did a good job with everything else. The one thing about the color is I love what you did with the processing for the background and everything, but this little dude's face is looking a little green, which is the last thing you want on a human. So just go over the skin and take the greens out, and you could do that with a brush or with a radial filter.
Yeah, he's probably green because he's surrounded by green stuff, right? Like he's in shadow, so all the light that's hitting him is reflected off of the foliage around him.
Yes, that's a really tough thing about taking portraits outside, is that everything can look green. Come on. I don't like how... Sometimes I don't like how Lightroom does me like that. When you just click on a filter and it just does something weird. Okay. And now you have the same, well, I kind of changed the hues of your background too, but then the baby has a more pink face.
Yeah. Baby color is definitely better.
Baby color. Let's take a comment. Chris, first of all, we didn't say hello to you, which is rude, and I'm sorry, and hello. How are you?
Chris ready?
It's okay. I'm fine. And hello again.
Do you still have your
Yeah,
cough?
we've got some good comments here. A good one here from Steve Clough. When would using soft focus be best suited in portrait photography?
Well, to match the mood. So if you have an ethereal picture and you don't want everything tack sharp, I could see soft focus.
I haven't really seen
If you're
anybody
Oprah-
use soft focus since
I did.
like the glamour shots days of the 80s, right? Like
Yeah, I was
Canon
going to
used to
ask
make
that.
these specialized soft
It's
focus
coming
lenses.
back.
Is it
Soft
really?
Yes.
focus is coming back?
Oh my gosh, you guys are so out of touch.
Like Vaseline on
You're
the lens
both,
kind of stuff?
you're out of here. Vaseline.
Yeah, didn't they used to do that?
That's
Yeah,
what Oprah
definitely.
probably did.
Yeah,
Barbara Walters.
Don't.
that's one used for a UV filter.
That's true. Thank you, Chris. You know what? I have no internet, but I was going to show y'all a soft focus photo. But it's in style right now. It's actually like a new trend. So if you guys want to get on top of that, you'll be one of the first before it's cliche.
Oh, man. Soft focus is coming back.
Tony, you know
What else? Boas? Pastels?
Oh man, you sound like such an old guy right now. You ever wear clothes and then your older family members are like, bell bottoms? What the heck?
No, that's never happened to me. What else do you have for us, Chris?
Well, we've got a good question here online. There's some questions about how come there's a lot of portraits submitted with the tops of heads cut off. And I think that's kind of imitating the Peter Hurley look, isn't it?
I can't say for sure who originated it, but I do know Peter Hurley has definitely helped popularize it.
It's
I was just
fine if you're.
scanning through.
I mean, it's okay.
I like the look myself. I mean, I feel like it just falls in the category of simplifying the subject, right? Because when we look at a person's face, we don't really care about the top of their head. And I think it's generally fine. We're more interested in the eyes. And if you crop tighter, then you get to see more of the eyes. And okay, here's an example finally, even though it's not really a traditional one. I don't think anybody is like, oh, I wish I could see more of the top of her head. That feels weird that I can't see the top of her head.
But
Your brain just fills it in.
Yeah, but you have to do it appropriately, folks. Listen to me. If you chop off some weird part of the skin on the forehead, it makes it look like their head might go on forever. I find that so uncomfortable.
Yeah, you have to leave like a little bit of the hairline in there. I
You
do
can
see it done too
above
far.
the brow, and then you just think they probably have a normal head up there. But for some reason, if you do it higher, they could be a cone head. You don't know.
Like, I'm sorry, Andrea. This is a great shot. I just wanted to use this as an example. Like, if we crop too far, doesn't it look like now she just has a really high hairline, like she's balding?
No, it's just unbalanced, right?
Yeah. Well, the eyes are too close too, but I guess while we're here, we should look at Andrea's shot.
I like this strange retro thing that you have going on. I think it definitely got my attention. I think it's cool.
Yeah, this is great. What we see here is a pretty consistent mood. Her expression is bright. Her eyes are wide open, and the colors are bright and powerful. So it all comes together. We're almost symmetrical here. I might strive to get a little more symmetry, like her pinkies are a little bit unbalanced, and I think I would probably lose the bracelet that she has on her hand. But I like the shot a lot. I'm going to give it a pick.
Hands are just so tricky. Okay, guys, I found a really good example of soft focus, and Roxy Rodriguez, my girl, has some on her Instagram, and her Instagram handle is rock, ROCKSEA, Roxy.
Should I go look it up, or are you just going to give people homework to do?
Okay, so at any second, I think we should just be on. It's tough for me to tell in this instance.
Okay, perhaps we're back. We're going to take a look at a few more pictures.
Perhaps we're back. We're just going to cough. Keep it going. Look at how concerned this girl looks smelling a flower. Oh, what happened, little flower girl?
Yeah, really cute kid.
Okay. Whew. Sometimes it's hard to snap
Yep,
back
we're
into
back.
it. We're
Okay.
back. Look at this. Wow. What's happening? Oh, there's lights in the flower arrangement. Ooh, you made the crystal shine. You paid attention to detail. You've got the gelled lights going. Catch light in the eyes. Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a pick. I think it's awesome.
That's cool.
Let's scroll down and see.
Oh, I see so many I like. This is difficult. Ooh, look.
Which one do you like? Go for it.
I like his, this just seems like real. I like his expression and his pipe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great character. You get a pick for that.
Maybe I just dialed back the texture on the skin a tiny bit, Bob. I think it's good that you enhanced it because I think it matches the mood, but just a tiny bit, like 20%. If I had to give a critique. What's this about? Ooh, look at that hair.
I feel like we need a little bit more of a hair light, right? We're missing something really cool with her hair.
Mm-hmm. She looks like a dancer. Look at those feet.
Yeah, so just think about the fact that the background is almost as dark as her hair.
Val?
Whoa.
What is she doing there? Cheating on us, I guess. You know
For those
what?
who have no idea what we're talking about, that's definitely our model of mannequin that we use
Your
to
mannequin, right? Yeah.
pose stuff. I guess somebody bought the same one.
I like that you didn't let not having a live human stop you from participating. So let that be a lesson to you all. And you seem to be getting your lighting and your props and everything set up. This is what I do before a photo shoot a lot of the time. I test it on the mannequin. I test clothes on the mannequin. I test lighting on the mannequin. Why pay for that valuable time when you have a model around?
It actually does feel a little tight, though. I'd like to see a little more room below the chin.
Yeah, a little more feeling. Look at this. He looks a little bit like a troublemaker. I like this. I think it shows his personality. He's got his head a little tilted, his hat's a little sideways, his tie's a little sideways. I feel like his mom dressed him up, but he'd rather be playing, and I kind of like that.
Nice shot, Daniel.
Look at this cutie. It's so, you got close, focus on the eyes is perfect. You get a sweet little expression.
Yep, really nice shot.
Somehow there aren't Cheetos all over this child. I'm going to give you a pick. It's so sweet.
Well, let's look at one more picture, and then we'll take a look at a Squarespace portfolio.
Okay.
So you pick the
gosh.
picture you most want to see. No pressure.
Oh my gosh. This is so difficult. I'll go with this one because they went for it. They used the hands to frame her face. I like the color contrast. I like that the styling is different. You have these orange eyebrows, orange makeup. The color contrast is nice, orange hair and a green background. This is really beautiful and interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to give that one a pick. That's fantastic. Nice work.
Let's look at a portfolio.
This
What I
is
like about a portfolio is that you are showing people your best work first. It's not chronological like your Facebook or your Instagram or any other of your social media. You're choosing exactly what you want your clients to see, and you're making sure that's the first thing that they see. And so let me see what's my first impression. Let me scroll up and just see.
Have we looked at this portfolio before, or am I just recognizing pictures that
I don't
maybe
know.
Lucas
I don't
has
think I've
previously
seen
submitted?
this.
No? Okay.
But it looks, I like that it looks just clean and simple. I'm looking right at the photos. I'm not distracted by anything else on the website. And
This is kind of the right way to do a portfolio now, which is scrolling only. I do see there are templates you can choose that have you like click to progress through a slideshow, but that's a very kind of 5 years ago style. Nowadays, everybody's on mobile. We just expect to scroll to see more. That's the default. And you don't want people to have to take even a second to learn how to use your website. And that's why I'm a fan of the sort of scrolling.
I like the scrolling one too, and every picture is separate. Sometimes they can mush together. You have enough different models that I don't feel like I'm seeing the same person over and over again. And your photos are beautiful. I think this front page is long enough that you could pare it down a little bit and show fewer. This picture caught my eye. Okay, so now we go to a different thing, and I would just keep it in the scrolling format.
Yeah, I think this is okay in case people want to zoom in and see a little more detail on a particular picture. Let's check out.
Hold on.
Yeah, there we go.
And then let's go to the about. I like this picture of you. I get a little bit of a feel for who you are.
But don't you, it's such a great picture, but don't you wish he had a camera in his hand?
Not necessarily.
I might also just make the picture smaller. You can just size the picture down and have the text wrap around it. And you can see in our format here on a computer, it's so big that we cannot see the whole picture at a time, and that's a little bit frustrating. So Squarespace gives you the ability to just resize those things and lay it out differently, and you should take advantage of that.
What is title?
This is the page I originally landed on.
I would just get rid of that.
Yeah, I'm not generally a fan of title pages. I didn't mind it in that case. I thought it was good, but
At least it was nice and clean and simple, good photo. And then this is travel. Oh, I like that natural framing. These are nice.
Lucas's portraits are so good. I wish he had a pricing page. Like,
Call me.
Definitely feel like people could hire him, so I don't know why he's not advertising it like that, but maybe he's
I like
not trying to do this professionally.
Overall, it's good. I would only take out a few photos. People do judge you on your worst photo, unfortunately. And so if I were you, I'd just go through and pick the ones that are your least favorite and get rid of those. But otherwise, it's simple, it's clean, it makes your work look great. I like your about page. I get a feel for who you are, and it looks good. Let's see what Lucas had to say.
This is what Lucas had to say about Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace for about a year now. It's just been the simplest way to set up and organize a website. I even adjusted a few things in a matter of minutes before submitting to your show. Squarespace is possibly the easiest thing happening in my busy life.
Before I got a Squarespace, Lucas, I had 3 other portfolio sites I never finished because there were so many little details you had to complete, and I am not like that. And the fact that I could just drag and drop my pictures into a template and make them look finished and professional was why I loved Squarespace and why we took them on as a sponsor. So if you'd like to try it for 14 days free, you don't need to put in your credit card and remember to cancel it. You just get it for free. Sign up when you have like an hour to set up the whole website. It doesn't take that long. And go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off your whole purchase. And I think you'll be happy about it. Or if you want, you can even use the free trial and submit it to stp.io/link and see what we think of your trial or your website.
Thanks, Lucas, and thanks, Squarespace. I'll import some more pictures that were submitted during the course of the live show.
Chris, do you have any questions or comments from the peeps?
Yes, indeed. In fact, there was a little bit in the chat about Squarespace and wondering if you'd ever do a nuances and how to optimize Squarespace and maybe look at some of the more hidden features that you could really make your Squarespace site pop.
It's not a bad idea.
We could look into that. Actually, maybe instead of like a portfolio review, we could just give a tip sometimes too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Break it down.
Yeah. And here's a question. If you could do a theoretical one-day photo shoot with a famous portrait photographer, spending the entire day, the entire shoot, the processing, everything, who would you choose and why?
It's probably not fair to call him a portrait photographer, but I would want to shoot with David LaChapelle. He's definitely my hero.
Oh, really?
I mean, he does portraits.
Yeah.
I would maybe Annie Leibovitz.
Yeah, she would be my number 2 choice.
Because I really love her lighting. I think it's really beautiful. And she always gets a really beautiful expression out of people. I'd like to see how she works. She seems cool, too.
And like her whole sets and everything.
Yeah, her
It's so
sets are
elaborate.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool, look at Dennis's picture, man.
That's intense. What happened? Why are you there? What's her story?
I wondered that too. We focused on the weapon instead of her eye, but I mean, maybe it's an ad for the gun or one of the accessories and not.
You better be careful.
proper
People get
portrait.
mad at us if we show a gun.
Yeah, not everybody's an American.
Whoa, look at this one. Oh, I think we've seen this before. I like that picture.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
What is this? Poodleville? That's a
People are
doodle.
figuring out your weakness.
People are figuring out.
Ginger, nice shot.
I like the pups. Okay.
I like this 80s portrait here. Don't you feel like it has a certain 80s vibe to it?
Yeah. Is it?
Well, maybe actually. Look at the lettering along the right side. It looks like it's maybe scanned from a print.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Cool
find
shot.
it captivating. I don't know why.
There is something about it,
I
right?
love the glitter beard.
Yeah, that's amazing. Great
Draws
job
me
on the
right in. I
styling.
like the background.
Yeah, and the depth of field here is perfect. This, you could have shot this at 200 and f2.8, but you shot it at 50 millimeters, and that gives a more intimate feeling. Works great.
My only thing is the expression. For this makeup and styling is so loud. The background's so fun. The makeup's so fun, and then the expression is like, it's blank. So I'd like to see like a smile or something bigger, a bigger expression for this big personality person.
Yeah, it's something that takes years to develop, the ability of a photographer to sort of pull expressions and feelings out of people, but you can walk them through a variety of different scenarios, just talk to them. Spend
That's the
time.
hard part for me, talking to them. Like, what do you talk about? So, hey, we're both standing here. Some people are good at that.
Yeah.
Not me.
Check out this background here.
Ooh, bright.
What a gorgeous color, right?
The skin tones are off. Let's check it.
Yeah, a little bit green, right?
They're a little green. You know, all these green people. You don't want that. What if one day someone has some kind of green face disease? Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I like this picture. Great contrast.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
The styling is so beautiful. The texture. I love his expression. He kind of looks like a troublemaker, honestly. You got his eye in focus.
Yeah, but should it have been the other eye?
It could have been, but from this distance, it doesn't bother me.
No. I mean, I think with portraits, it's really common to see that sort of thing.
This
it
is
a
so
little off,
classic,
but
and
give it a pick.
everything about it's classic. I like it a lot.
Great subject separation on the face with a dark
Oh
background.
my gosh, people are onto us.
I want to see 52.
They just have like buffalo and dogs, and
50.
you want to see 52? Ooh,
Wow.
I like that she's framed by the balloons. Maybe your shutter speed is low. Let's see here.
1/80th is a little slow.
Yeah. So I just bumped that up a little bit. I'm kind of a little bit shaky, so I need that a little bit faster.
I feel like it needs something else though. Like it's so striking. Maybe it's because the tone of her dress is so similar to the tone of the street that the shape of it is disappearing a little bit. Like maybe we needed her in a gold dress,
Well,
or maybe it's the distracting yellow in the background.
I kind of like the yellow with the balloons.
I think maybe she needs some light or something just to set her off in the background a little bit. I think that's it. I think just her dress is disappearing.
Yeah, but I like the picture.
Maybe you could have even found a darker street, something with standard pavement that didn't quite blend in so closely.
Maybe even just bringing her out a little more.
Very interesting shot, Francisco.
Let's see what else. I like this with the gels. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Nice styling. I would have cropped a little bit less because we're kind of chopping her off at the neck a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just leave a little more room, even just a couple inches more. But it's nice. This looks like a glasses ad. Look how clean this is. I love his expression. It makes me smile. I think that's one of the most important things with taking a portrait is the person's expression because you're connecting to the subject. And right away I was drawn into this photo because that is such a nice, genuine expression. No.
Just in honor of Peter Hurley.
No. You stop it right now.
No, I liked it before better. I was just making a joke.
That was a
It's just that
terrible
Control
joke.
Z.
How could you do that? Now we're fighting. Okay. Oh, I thought everything. Oh, wow.
I think you started a slideshow. I don't know how that happened.
Wow, it's just been an interesting time here.
Sorry, Naughty.
Okay, well, I love that. I'm going to give that one a pick.
You're not going to click on 82.
Fine. But, I mean,
These are the most well-behaved dogs I've ever seen. They are adorable. You got like eye contact from both of them. They're not freaking out. I think maybe you
But this
caught
one's
focus
judging.
on the nose though, and that can be difficult. Don't be afraid just to use a little higher depth of field. Use a single autofocus point and try to put it on one of their eyes.
ooh, this one's cool. If he's being framed by his own hands. You got another green baby.
Yeah.
Guys, what's with all these green babies? Stop it.
So yeah, definitely look for green in the skin tones. That's a common mistake. I also want to raise the shadows a little bit. Like I feel like I need to see what his hands are on because right now they disappear so much that his hands just seem to be floating the way my monitor is. It might be better done with a little bit of dodging, specifically on those wood planks in the foreground, just so you don't lose that contrast that I really do like.
I agree. I love that picture, though.
Yeah, great pose, really interesting. Good work in black and white too.
Whoa. Very interesting. You framed her with two people and their faces are covered so that we're still focusing on her.
Yeah, you think it's a band? Definitely could be.
Sure.
What about her right hand though?
Hey, why is this lady throwing a head of Is that how big her baby is?
Oh, okay.
Oh, our baby is the size of a cabbage.
Does that dog want your cabbage?
Does that say cab page?
And then maybe they ran out of bees.
They
I
ran
mean,
out of
they had to
bees.
use 2 bees for baby.
Sorry, we're like that. I don't know why I noticed that. Oh my gosh, look at the dog. You don't want cabbage, crazy dog. I love this. I love the storytelling. The only thing that I would change is that the cabbage and the dog are in focus, but not the beautiful mama. Now I'm just
Sorry,
now
such
I'm just being silly.
ballbusters. You could just clone one of the bees over to the bee.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Don't tell
Oh,
them
this
what
is
to do.
that's a really nice portrait.
Yeah, this is
But
from
clone
Lucas.
over her
We-
zipper.
Right,
Oh
that's
yeah, we
from
just looked at
Lucas.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
great job, Lucas.
Come on,
Guess we
Tony.
like
Don't
your
you know
work.
Lucas?
You,
Sorry. Puno.
okay, the
Sorry.
dog. But the one thing that I like more than dogs is Corvettes. Look at this guy; he's awesome.
What if that's not his car and he just does this in front of every car?
He just goes around like super well dressed.
Here, you know what
I
would
love
do?
the shot, the Toyota behind it with the
Yes.
license plate. We got to get rid of that license plate. So.
Yes.
He's actually homeless.
Yeah, he just has a good. Just getting rid of the badging on the Toyota helped.
That's not so perfect. Great shot.
I mean, it's not. It's great. It's not perfect.
Well,
There's a few
I mean,
distractions.
short of I mean, he doesn't own the car, so we can't move it to a better spot.
I mean, that's what they have flatbeds for.
Yeah, buy a tone company.
Look at the colors here. The purple and the orange. I'm so about color. I love that. Really nice. The only thing I would just get a little more expression out of her. She's kind of blankly staring off camera, but I like it. I like the photo. Oh my gosh, so many great photos on this day.
I like 126. Oh, this is
Joe Baker.
Oh,
I
okay.
love your
Classic Joe
gels,
Baker
Joe.
style.
I like seeing Joe's photos because we've seen his photos for years.
Yeah.
And he's just improves every time. Which one did you want to see, Tony?
126.
Yes. Speaking of amazing
I love this,
colors,
right?
good expression. The styling matches with this fuzzy sweater with these retro glasses.
Yeah,
You
they
added
upped the
some
film
grain.
grain to kind of do the
pick.
retro thing. Awesome job. Love it.
Wow. Are these more green people? No more green people. We got a rule here now.
What? Why does that happen?
There was some discussion about, well, sometimes the green is intentional, but
No.
I didn't want to say green skin never looks good, but green skin never looks good
But green,
unless it's like stage lighting green or something.
yeah, but skin is green when you're about to vomit. I just don't think a green face is a good look, guys. I think we're going to have to fight about this one. Look. Let's look. Oops. Let's not look. Okay, now let's look. Do you want to be a green person or a regular person? Okay. They might be too magenta now. I think I overdid it. This is very cool.
I love that. I'm going to give that a pick. Very creative.
That terrifies me. I'm giving you a pick as well. Where do you stand in the green people debate, Chris? Some people might like a green.
Oh, like I was saying, I mean, the only time I would think that green would be natural is if it's stage lighting or something where it's intentionally green and overly green, but that green undertone just doesn't look good on skin, in my opinion. But maybe that's what they were going for.
Yeah. I've never heard of someone saying, can you give me that green look? But
Crystal, this
Find
shot.
green makeup.
yeah.
Crystal, this shot's amazing, but we just misfocused on the eye just by the slightest amount. And I would bet most people wouldn't even complain. They probably didn't even notice. But
This photo's
it's
so
something they're
beautiful.
trying
I
to
don't
do.
even care, Crystal.
Yeah, it looked absolutely spectacular.
This is a great professional headshot. I would leave a little more space somewhere. It's a little bit tight, but I like it. It's in focus. It's
Yeah.
nice. Look at this one. It's quite fashion. I like the candidness of the pose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
She
she's
looks
got a great
comfortable.
pose.
Just
very good
that
model.
expression, I think, is a little bit of tension here in the face. She has such a relaxed pose, and the whole thing is so candid. I just make her face a little bit softer. You probably have
Give you a
one
pick for that.
like that in there. Gotta go looking for it. Wow, you guys hit it out of the park this time. These are great. What's the story behind this baby?
Yeah.
Business baby.
Chelsea, that's not how people dress for business.
Shoot, is that why I've been fired so many times?
Just watch the edges of the frame. You just cut into his shoes, and you can always crop later. But
Well, his face is out of focus, but we don't know why, because this seems to be the focal plane. Is he leaning out of it, or did he move? I think he moved.
It's tough. I'll say it kind of depends on the camera, but I try to always use continuous focus with portraits, and I overshoot. I take more shots than necessary because some percentage are going to be out of focus, especially when you're working with shallow depth of field like this.
But that's easy to learn. You know what you did really well? I love this natural framing you put in the bottom. It frames the photo nicely. I love your processing and everything. The baby might be slightly green, but you know what? That seems to be a trend that I just don't know about yet. But yeah, looks good. Just you have to be careful with that focus or potentially your shutter speed.
Well, why don't we take another question? I'll actually re-import because we have a couple of minutes left.
Imagine if I had my coffee like this in the morning. Just like gazing out. All right.
Okay. When you're in the studio doing getting ready for a photo shoot, do you have anything that you like to make sure is there to make sure everything's going well, like music or temperature or props or certain things that you like to have going on to help your workflow in the shoot?
I like music going. I like to have, I like to be tethered because I like to see my photos large immediately so that I'm not missing focus or missing little mistakes because the back of the screen is too small. So I usually shoot and then review on a larger screen. And then I've also learned that it's pretty helpful to have the makeup artist and hairstylist on hand because if your model's moving, they're going to get, the lights are going to make them sweaty and their hair is going to get all tangled. And so it's good to just keep them around for the shoot. What else?
Can I just say for the music, Alexa is so useful in the studio because often you want to change the vibe or you want them to be able to pick the music. And we used to use like Bluetooth to our smartphone and it would always involve like getting my smartphone and like looking something up. But to be able to say, I won't say it now because my Alexa will respond, but we'll call it Sally. Sally, play hip hop music or play country music or whatever, and instantly get that right vibe going. It's really valuable.
Get the vibe. Anything else, Chris?
Yeah, when there's let's see, why would you say there are certain portrait attributes, styling themes, and lighting trends that fashion-oriented employers look for in a new employee's work? What's important to show in your portfolio when you're applying for a job or a gig?
I think just consistency and competency. I mean, I think people like things to be forward in style. They obviously don't want you to look outdated if you're looking for a fashion gig, but I think they also want you to have a bit of your own style, and that can be difficult. I'm trying to think of another way to explain it. It's like an artist. Like at some point, anyone can do realism really well, but what makes it interesting is adding your own take on something that makes people stop and actually look at it. So in other words, they want your work to make people stop and look. And so it's got to look good, but it has to be interesting.
One of the things that can help you get a job is to never send the same resume to two employers. Like, look at what the employer wants and kind of cater your resume to what they're going to be interested in. And I would recommend people do the same thing with their photographic portfolio if you're looking for a job. You know, if you're going to work for a conservative company, load it up with something that you think matches their style. If you're going for something more fashion forward, then match that.
I know people even get jobs just for their competency. They're not hired for their style at all. An employer will just see that they work hard, they're constantly shooting, they're constantly working, and they'll say, hey, I know this job is like simple, but can you just come do it? Because we know you can. And so just putting your work out there and being consistent is important.
Here's a really compelling...
In your portfolio, if you're applying for a fashion shoot, does it help to have landscape pictures and wildlife pictures in that portfolio, or should you just take those out so it's obvious where your focus is?
Yeah, focus your work, I say.
Yeah, I think you should focus your work.
I think it's a really common mistake that we see where people just are trying to be portrait photographers and then they have a bunch of just random bird pictures and stuff in there and like, just take it out.
Yeah.
Or have a separate portfolio that's your own personal stuff.
And it's weird too if someone
turn off those pages, yeah.
Yeah, even if someone's good at fashion, I've seen people be very good at something in their portfolio and then they have some other section where they have really mediocre beginning landscapes, and it really it kind of changes your opinion of them. You're like, whoa, why are they doing this other thing? It makes you think twice. Don't make somebody hiring you think twice, especially if they might not understand where you're coming from. They might not know your story. Whatever you want to be hired for, just put it front and center.
That's the one thing you do.
Same thing with a resume. Customize that resume, like you said. Customize that resume. If it's a written resume, customize that to whoever you're applying for. A generic one sheet covers all just doesn't get as many good results.
You're right.
No, and it seems lazy. And the person hiring you is going to know that they got this one size fits all resume.
Here's Golden Clio by Anton, and it looks technically perfect. It's gorgeous, right? And I wanted to pull it into crop mode here so we can see these rule of thirds lines and just kind of show you how appealing it is when the eyes are right at that 1/3 line, as opposed to, you know, we've seen so many times where the crop is just much higher like this, and there's just something kind of uncomfortable about it. So good job kind of working those ratios. I like this angle a lot. Looks like the sun is right behind her head, and that's kind of creating a halo effect. I think we pulled the blues down, and for better or worse, maybe we pulled it down a little bit more. I might want to restore some of the original contrast. What else is catching your eye?
I like this one. It's
that's really nice.
But I like the pose, and I like it. There's something candid about it.
It can be hard to focus portraits because the eyes are not the first thing in the frame, and cameras always want to focus on the closest thing. Just have to use that single focus point. And sometimes you have to shoot and lean in a little bit, especially if the person has glasses or something else that the camera might focus on. Hold that back button down to focus, then let go, shoot continuously, and just lean in like half an inch or an inch.
This photo is very nice, but there's something about the processing that's making her look a little bit over smoothed. But other than that, your styling is really clean. Like, you don't have many flyaways. You know, it's simple, but She's groomed really well.
Yeah, there's something about her left eye and the processing on it.
This one,
But yeah, I
is
think it's really nice. Very nice. I'm going to give it a pick.
nice. All right, what do you think, Tone? Should we take one more question?
Yeah, sure. We'll do one more question and get out of here.
What you got for us, Chris?
Check out this dude.
This guy's
Dang.
cool.
Well, if you don't mind a gear question here, Tony,
Sure.
Go for it,
are you
Tom.
going to do? Some people want to see a book on the whole mirrorless platform.
The mirrorless platform, I don't know what that means. Like just
All- the
shooting
whole,
with
you know, the
mirrorless in
switch
particular?
from DSLRs to mirrorless.
Oh.
I don't want to write another book, but but maybe I can make a video about it. We're updating SDP now, and it's tiring. It's hard to write books, it turns out.
Yeah, they asked you at the wrong time, honestly.
Yeah, but I will put that on my to-do list for videos because I do think that's a common challenge is switching platforms. And it's something you've been experiencing recently, like all the things that are different between mirrorless and DSLR.
Yeah, true.
Okay, let's sign out of here. Thanks, Squarespace, one last time. If you
Yeah,
want.
you guys, in 2 weeks, October 3rd, Matt Granger is going to be here, I'm pretty sure, in the studio, and he's going to be reviewing your travel photos. He's very funny. He's very talented, so put it in your calendar so
Yeah,
you can
he
join us. And then, of course, thank you, Squarespace, for making this show possible and for giving us an excuse to review people's portfolios, because I think it's been very helpful. You can get your free trial at squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. And if you do that, submit it to us at sdp.io/link and we can review your portfolio, give you some tips, help you out.
Thanks, Squarespace, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks for travel photography.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks,
bet.
Justin.
Take care.
Bye.
That is all.
Okay, did anyone